Sukha, Buddhist happiness, interrupted by an air show. Once in a while there will be some planes. This is as far as I came from the childhood. I was thinking about some themes from back then. One major aspect was communism. Tyranny has a tremendous impact in the life of anyone. In fact, studies on positive psychology show that in Switzerland, for instance, they've taken out two cantons, and the one which had referendums, we all know how deep rooted is this democracy in Switzerland, but one canton which had referendums on more details, on a sum of, if the public is to spend $50,000, they have a referendum. I'm just giving you a seldom. I don't know the exact sum, but it was a relatively small sum. And those who have a say in minute details, in sums as small as 50 or 100,000, are happier than those in another canton where the limit was, let's say, $1 million. So, basically, and in short, resuming this, the deeper the democracy, the bigger the happiness. You're happier with democracy. That's what I say. Freedom of choice and variety are secrets of happiness. I didn't know that when I was young, and then there was not much choice. I lived in one of the apartment buildings, surrounded by other apartment buildings, so result we can see a stressed, anxious individual perhaps. And when we went to the center of the city, it was a major event. It was like nothing else. Most of the time was spent playing football on a field nearby, and there were some incidents like this one when there were not planes like now, but it sounded like artillery fire, and I was with my sister Madi, and I kneeled praying to be safe because I thought we would be bombed to death. This plane will do nothing, just noise. I'll have to try and shout over it and them. Family was large, and family reunions were quite interesting. Not always, but most of the time. Even funerals were places where I remember once an uncle of mine had a call with his wife, and the cousins and I fooled around in that house with only 3-4 rooms, but so many relatives. On my mother's side there were eight brothers and 4 brothers and 4 sisters, as it happens. With one of my cousins I had a very close relationship. In fact, he became my best friend, Rhea. Unfortunately, when we were about 25, in 1990, after 1990, 91 or 2, he left for Belgium and then traveled around the world and ended up in Argentina, where he lives now. Another cousin who had an impact, at this time negative, my involution was Sorina, one who at one point had a boyfriend, sort of a gangster as it turns out, who opened 1-2 small shops, wanted some money, a few $1,000s, but that was a fortune then. It's a fortune even now on a third of the globe or so. And even here, if you cross on the other side of the fence. And when I sent a guy who worked for me, Stefan, to see about the money, much later than the due date, this guy, such a good fellow out of the Scorsese movies, took a gun out and scared the hell out of my employee. And then there were other occasions when I intersected with Sorina. It wasn't all good. With Adrian, it's a long story. We go back a long way, and there are some stories which I hope I will be able to mention here. Halas. Yalla.